Hey, welcome back to The Mouse and Men. I am your co-host, Chris Murphy. Now, I am not with Bradley today because we are doing a limited series about having limited time inside the Walt Disney World where fun is unlimited. So we thought to ourselves, what could we do if we only had half of a day? And we really wanted to get as much done as we could in that half day in each of the parks and Disney Springs. So for the next couple of weeks, again, a limited series on what I would do in each of the parks and Disney Springs. We're gonna hear from Bradley too. And we wanna hear from you too. We wanna hear what you would do if you only had a few hours in each of the parks. Because what do we do when we go on vacation to Disney World? We want to spend as much time as possible. But what if time was limited? What if we had to get in and out? What if this was our last day and we had one park that we still had to get to? What would we do in there? So this week, wanted to take a few minutes and tell you what I would do if I only had a few hours inside of the Magic Kingdom. So without further ado, let's dive into it. So for me, I think to myself, like, what do I want to accomplish in each of these parks? I start thinking if I only have a half of a day, and let's just say I'm driving from Florida back to my home of Nashville, and I can stop, but I can't stop for long. What would I do? I would probably go to the Magic Kingdom, I think. And now even saying that, I'm like, yeah, but Epcot and Space Mountain, and Spaceship Earth, and yeah, but Hollywood Studios and the Rock and Roller Coaster, and so all these things start flooding into my head. But what really makes Disney special for me is when it gets down to it, there's so many reasons, but when it gets down to it, it's all about nostalgia for me. So the most nostalgic park for me in all of Walt Disney World is the Magic Kingdom. And then I start thinking, okay, if I only had if time was a limited resource in this scenario that we're thinking of, what would I do? And so for me, I'm going to try to be there as long as I can. But if in our scenario that we are creating here, it's only half of a day, what I want to do is I want to get those things that I would feel sad. Like I would feel sad if I only had half a day in the Magic Kingdom. But I would also feel sad if I only had half of a day in the Magic Kingdom and I didn't ride these few rides. It would feel like, why did I even go? Why did I even spend the money? So for me, first off, it is walking as intentionally as possible to my first ride, but also trying to take in as many sights and sounds as possible. I love how you have to walk all the way down Main Street, USA, to get to any of the other lands inside the Magic Kingdom. And so as much as I would want to sprint to my first line to get in ride for my first ride, I want to make sure that I am really taking in those sights and sounds. So I hope that I'm seeing those balloons shaped like Mickey. I hope that I'm hearing the barbershop quartet. I hope that I am seeing happy families and the castle off in the distance. I want to feel that nostalgia. That, you know, the pictures that, like, you could even see Walt Disney standing there in Disneyland, or those ideas of like the iconic memories for me of Disney are memories that you can go back even before I was born to see that, like, families have been enjoying these for generations. So for me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk down Main Street, really try to soak in all that's around me. And then I'm going to take a right and beeline it as much as I can, or as quickly as I can, to Space Mountain. That's the first one. I've got to ride Space Mountain. If I went to the Magic Kingdom and I didn't get Space Mountain under my belt, I would feel like, wow, it's sad that I did all of that. I paid all of that money and I didn't even get on Space Mountain. So what I would attempt to do is, if I was thinking intelligently about my half day, I know that some of these other rides that I'm going to mention, or the experiences that I'm going to mention, usually have shorter lines than some of the roller coasters. And so for me, I'm going to try to get a fast pass, or, you know, Disney Genie Plus. I want to get on Space Mountain as soon as possible. So I'm going to do what I can, even if I have to pay a few dollars. And again, I don't necessarily like the new system where you have to pay to play, but if I have to live with that system in order to get some of those nostalgic memories ticked off the box, I guess I'm going to do it. So whatever I have to do to get as close to the front of the line on Space Mountain as possible, because I really want to ride that. Now, if I get there, like, I'm thinking of this as a normal day where Space Mountain could be hour plus. And not just like I get there as soon as it opens and I can ride it 3 times before there's even a wait line or a wait on the time meter out front. So I'm just trying to think, typically I would need to wait in line for Space Mountain. So I'm going to try to get whatever 2022's version of a Fast Pass is, the Genie Plus, or those types of the Lightning Lane, those ideas. I want to get there. Space Mountain is very important to me, very nostalgic for me. I don't know that I've ever been to the Magic Kingdom without riding Space Mountain, and I've been quite a bit. And usually I ride it more than once, but that's my first go. That's my first go. I've got to go there. So that's Space Mountain. Got to knock that out. So now what I want to do is I want to try my best to be nourished. And again, I don't even like, let's say that I get there on opening. I want to make sure that on opening, I sprint right to Space Mountain. So maybe I'm not even going to stop for breakfast at this point, because now I need to go all the way to the other side of the park to hit up my next handful of rides. And this is kind of where I'll stay the rest of my half day. But if I get there for whatever reason, I get there around lunch, what I'm going to do is I'm going to swing by before I get into the other areas that I'm going to, Liberty Square and Adventureland. I want to swing by Casey's Corner and get a hot dog. Now, it'd be nice if I had the time to sit and listen to the piano being played and to enjoy the whole experience. But if I really have to watch out for my time, I'm going to grab that hot dog and I'm going to keep a walking over to my next ride, which is Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Now, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, if the wait is longer, I may say I'm going to push pause on Big Thunder Mountain Railroad because I need to hit up these other two. And so one of those for me, and again, nostalgic purposes, I know everything about this ride. I know the ins and the outs of this ride. I know the characters that I'm going to see. And so it's not about a thrill for me as much as it is a nostalgic experience, which is the Haunted Mansion. So I think that in my walk from Space Mountain to Casey's Corner to this other side of the park, that I would hit Big Thunder Mountain Railroad first. And so if the line is low enough, I'm going to Thunder Mountain Railroad. But if there's already a wait, I'm going to do what I can to maybe try to get a way to get closer to the top of the line there. But I'm going to go to Haunted Mansion. Usually the Haunted Mansion, because of the way that the ride flows, the wait is 30 minutes, maybe an hour. And again, you really have to think about this. If you only had half of a day, you really have to consider how long you want to spend of that day waiting in line. Because I know that I could go to someplace like It's a Small World and get on that ride in probably 15-ish minutes, again, depending on crowds. But that's not one that I really have to have taken care of to appreciate that ride. So if the line is low enough in Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, I'm hitting that. But if it is, I'm going to maybe do kind of a Genie Plus Lightning Lane situation there if I can. And again, my mindset, because I've not experienced Genie Plus or the Lightning Lane and the way that they're doing that now, I'm still in like fast pass mode. And so in the old days, you would have to you'd get a fast pass for Space Mountain, but there has to be a number of minutes or hours that go by before you can get another fast pass to something else. And so in that mindset, again, that may be a little antiquated at this point, I would hit up Haunted Mansion in order to get that off of my list while I wait for the Fast Pass, Genie Plus, Lightning Lane to open up for me for the Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. So, Haunted Mansion. Again, Haunted Mansion, I probably have been to the Magic Kingdom without having ridden the Haunted Mansion at least once or twice. But those experiences we won't talk about because they just sound sad. Because the Haunted Mansion, even spooky, it's just about fun. And it's been around for so long. It's been around for my entire life. And so that's one of those that I really need to go and see all of those haunted haunts and enjoy Haunted Mansion. That's ride 2. So now, depending on what my scenario is with Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, I may be jumping on that now, wanting to take care of that. But if I still have some time to wait, I'm going to walk not too far away from the Haunted Mansion and go straight for Pirates of the Caribbean. I love that ride. Again, I ride it almost every time that I'm there. I like to ride it multiple times. I know everything that's going to be said. I know all the ins and outs. I even know where I may get splashed with a little bit of water when the cannons are coming back and forth. I know everything about that ride, but this isn't about new experiences for me. Because what if I go to the Magic Kingdom and only try new experiences? One, I don't know that there are many there that I haven't already experienced. And two, what if I have experience on one of those new rides and I don't really like it that much? That's going to stink even more. So I really want to do the things that I love, that fill me up from a childhood, from like my little childhood heart. I want to experience those. So I'm doing Space Mountain, and then I'm doing either Big Thunder Mountain Railroad or Haunted Mansion, and then I'm going to Pirates of the Caribbean. Again, I know all the characters, I know what they're going to say, and that's part of the beauty of the nostalgia of Disney. That's why I love to continue to go back. Even after I can recite every word that's being said or every song that's being sung, I love the nostalgic way that, especially the Magic Kingdom, is represented in my heart. So, pirates. You got to do pirates. Like, I think that this would be something that even if the rest of our list was different, I can't see Bradley not going on pirates. I could be wrong because I haven't checked his list out because we kind of wanted to banter going back and forth with each other here with these answers. But I need pirates in my life. I just do. I love the experience. I love the fun of it. I love kind of the, just the rebelliousness in a fun, safe Disney way. I love pirates. So I'm doing pirates. Now, I'm done with pirates. And let's just say I got there and I got Space Mountain and then I went by Casey's Corner and I did that. And then I got Big Thunder Mountain Railroad under my belt. And then I went to the Haunted Mansion and then I made my way over to the Pirates of the Caribbean. I may be a little peckish. I may need a little treat. And so not far from pirates, I'm going to go to Adventureland and get a Dole Whip. Gotta have a Dole Whip when you go to the Magic Kingdom. There have been times where I've gone to the Magic Kingdom and not had a Dole Whip. There were times where I went to the Magic Kingdom and didn't even know the Dole Whip was a thing, and I saw other people with them and thought, oh, cool, ice cream, whatever. I'm gonna go get the vanilla ice cream with the chocolate shell shaped like Mickey. I'm gonna get one of those. But once I realized that Dole Whips were a thing, I could not have them in my life. And much in the same way that there are better meals to have at the Magic Kingdom than a hot dog from Casey's Corner with a soda. There may be even more filling things, more nutritious things. The nostalgic experience of being at Casey's Corner and having one of those hot dogs. Again, it's a hot dog. I've had hot dogs that are equivalent to Casey's Corner, but the nostalgia feel for me. In the same way, the Dole Whip to me screams nostalgia. So I need to get those taken care of. Now, I'm assuming in this scenario that that's about all the time that I have. And as you are listening to this, you've probably been to the Magic Kingdom. You've probably had to deal with all of the lines and the waits and the rides. And sometimes they're broken down. Like, okay, so we're just kind of taking a typical day. Not the height of the summer, not the low of some of those while all the kids and the people are in school. You can really just ride any ride you want to and knock everything out. Those are fun days. And those are days that we have talked about on this show about what would we do if we had to ride every ride in the Magic Kingdom? How would we accomplish that? What if we, the idea of like riding all the mountains, the Splash Mountain, the Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, the Space Mountain, all of these things, like how would you accomplish that goal? And so we've talked about all of those. And if you haven't heard them, go back in the archives and listen to some of those episodes. But now thinking through, how would you really do this? I want to hear from you too, because how would you really knock out a half a day in each park to get what you think is important taken care of? Because again, for me, having a half day, it's all about nostalgia for me. But that may not be the case for Bradley. That may not be the case for you. So we want to hear from you as well. Comment. We'd love to hear it. Send us an email. Hit us up on Twitter, up on Facebook, and tell us, or on Instagram, how you would deal with a half day in the Magic Kingdom. So as a recap, for me, for refreshments, I want to go to Casey's Corner and get a hot dog and a soda. I want to go to Adventureland and get a Dole Whip. And then if I'm going to have to wait in line, I want to wait in line for Space Mountain and Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Again, I love Snow White's Mine Train. I love that ride. I love the People Mover. Oh, it would be so hard not to do the People Mover. Oh, wait, I have to do the People Mover. I'm adding the People Mover in. If I'm going to Space Mountain, get off of there, ride the People Mover one good time. I have to do the People Mover. That would be a travesty. Okay, see, here we are. This is why we're having these episodes, and this is why we want to hear from you, because even in the midst of me talking about this, I'm already changing my answer, because it would be unfair to the childhood heart and the child in me to not hit that People Mover. Again, it's not like it's fascinating. It's not like I don't know every curve of the People Mover. It's not like I don't know every joke that's going to be said. But I have to ride it. So again, Magic Kingdom, I'm hitting up Space Mountain, People Mover, Casey's Corner, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, the Haunted Mansion, Pirates of the Caribbean, rounding it out with a Dole Whip. And then I'm going to try to walk as slowly as time will permit back through Main Street, USA, to enjoy that one last time. And hopefully I'll see somebody painting with water. Hopefully I'll hear a barbershop quartet. Hopefully I'll hear that music that has just like, it makes me think of the 20s and 30s and 40s in Missouri, from Walt's own childhood, or maybe even turn of the century. Yeah, what am I thinking here? But anyway, I want as much nostalgia as I can pack in there. And I think that would be a good nostalgic day to spend half a day in the Magic Kingdom. Am I leaving anything out? I'm sure that I am. But that's my story. I'm going to stick with it. I want to hear from Bradley. I can't wait to hear. I also want to hear from you. How would you spend it? Let us know on all the socials. How would you spend a half day in the Magic Kingdom? So for co-host Bradley Minigan, and for me, Chris Murphy, remembering that you don't want to grow up too fast. So you got to keep exploring and do it with us here on The Mouse and Men. Thanks, guys. See you soon.